The methods that we used are based in anthropology, based in something called ethnography, which is basically observing one's surroundings. So the women and girls involved were conducting ethnographic fieldwork. They were observing in their daily lives the types of risk of SCA that they and their peers face when trying to access things like food or water, shelter, etc. We didn't want literacy to be a barrier for anyone's participation. So instead of taking notes on these observations, they shared them back verbally with us. And we met about every 2 weeks for several months and held semi-structured interviews in which they were shared back their observations. We also held participatory group discussions at the beginning and end of this period. So small groups that used a lot of different types of exercises, things like community mapping and body mapping, to also reflect on the risks they had observed.
So I would then visit intermittently between those data collection points to help also have more debrief sessions and make sure that the staff were getting feedback if they wanted to ask me questions privately, or we would also have group debrief sessions so that they could learn from one another.
We, in the focus group discussion, we used exercises such as free listing, where women listed the different forms of, for example, problems they experienced while accessing aid. We also used body mapping exercises where women use different parts of their bodies to share their experiences and feelings about these issues. We further also conducted, we also used community asset mapping, where women mapped the different parts of the camp, of the settlement, where they experienced different forms of violence, where they felt safe and where they felt unsafe. So these were some of the methods that we used for data collection in the project.
بالعكس كانوا كتير مناح مثلا، ونحن حاولنا نستفيد ونفيد غيرنا كمان بالمجتمع، ونحاولنا مثلا انه نقدم شيء او صوتنا مثلا يطلع لكل المناطق وكل المنظمات وكل يعني مكان التوزيع.
So in community mapping, I mostly enjoyed it because before I joined Empowered Aid, I only knew one safe place, that is the Women's Center. But after joining it, I came to realize that there are so many safe places like the protection desk, the healthy center, and then the police stations. And then also we are told the unsafe places, that is the bush areas, the disco places. Those are the most things that I've enjoyed in the project.
تعلمنا أشياء كتير عن المخاطر وعن نحب بعض وعن الراحة النفسي طبعاً. تعلمنا إنه كيف نتعامل، كيف إنه بصير التوزيع، وين التوزيع، وين مطرح مثلاً بدنا نروح على الطريق، إنه لازم يكون آمن، إنه ما لازم ما يكون مثلاً ناخد شي حدا معنا، إنه هيك. والتوزيع يكون كتير إنه في يكون بس نساء، ما يكون في ظلم أكتريتها، لأنه مشان المرأة تحس حالها إنه هي مرتاحة أكتر.
Gewe awoti je jambo kilongo arbalaga kona kikilo. Ilong piong kade. Gewe awoti jifirina ilonga gewe tata kilonga lano ilonga. Kuyeta ke ututu firina taina emendimenda. Ilonga lai long mutuna wate kine gwadiyo. Kade ule ya jojo ule bodli ila ingele mutulian. Gewe awoti jifirina kompyuta la wate kine jaro gwadiyo. Gewe ya fonda jifirina ilong kwe ya uduna. Kwe unda ngondati kimuda kilos kilo muda suya wole jore yela ge digina na do ko banga ja fuji gurus kilo di yela ge digina do ko banga do ka di toro ji gurus kilo di do to borju tayin wole do go volunteeriga yela ge digina fiyo asakure ga jikina nyar karra fiyo ngela na to meda kuko aker janyo boy bidona fiyo wole to de jambo awlat.
It also helped us to build trust using the participatory methods with the women and girls, so that we could get them into honest discussions with us. We do that by assuring them of the confidentiality and also the environment where they are in as a safe space where they can share their experiences and knowledge with us without being targeted by anyone. So they took lead in this, and then it's also a way of respecting their voices since they are the center of the research study.
Working through an agency that's already providing high quality services for women and girls in the refugee settings was one of the ways of telling women that we want to make sure you're safe, and that is why we want to partner with this organization that values and recognizes that your safety and your voices matter.
كنت مرتاحة كتير وكتير كنت حاسة حالي قوية لأنه الفريق اللي كنت أنا معه كتير يعني حسسنا إنه بالأمان، حسسنا إنه بالثقة إنه نقدر نحكي اللي بدنا إياه، وكتير يعني حسينا حالنا عبرنا عن اللي جواتنا اللي كان مكبوت وما كنا عم نقدر نحكي.
The thing that makes me comfortable because what we are discussing to come up with the things to avoid such sexual exploitation. That's why it makes me to be comfortable, because we are getting areas for us women and girls not to reach those points.